right. Okay, so we're sharing that screen.
Life, and I'm very blessed by God to have seen it.
On April
19th, 2025, thousands of Orthodox Christians gathered at Jerusalem's Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
From Jerusalem will give peace all around the world. Jesus is risen.
Have you heard what is about to happen in Jerusalem? On September 24th, 2025, Israel plans to do something it has never done in 3,000 years of history. A coordinated blast of 100 sacred trumpets broadcast live to the entire world. Why does this matter? Because in the Bible, the trumpet is not just an instrument. It is the sound of divine intervention, the call to repentance, the signal of God's presence, and most importantly,
that's why they called
the
it
announcement of the
rapture.
Messiah. Think about it. When Jericho's walls fell, it was to the sound of trumpets. When the Jubilee was declared, it was with the trumpet's cry. And Scripture says, "The Lord himself shall descend with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first." 1 Thessalonians 4:16. For the first time in human history, every eye and every ear on earth can witness a single trumpet blast from Jerusalem. But here is the question: why now? Why 2025? Because this is not just a cultural celebration. It falls exactly on the Feast of Trumpets, the prophetic day known in Jewish tradition as the day no one knows the hour. This feast is tied to expectations of the Messiah's return. Even more striking, it coincides with renewed efforts in Israel to prepare a red heifer sacrifice, a ritual described in Numbers 19 as necessary to purify priests for temple service. Some rabbinic traditions say the 10th red heifer will be offered by the Messiah himself. As Israel makes these preparations, tensions in the Middle East are rising and the world is watching. Could this trumpet blast be more than tradition? Could it be the prophetic announcement that the next chapter in God's timeline is about to begin? If you do not want to miss the signs, pay attention now. Every week the clues are accelerating, and with each headline, the pieces of prophecy seem to move closer together.
Well,
what you are about to watch could completely change how you see the future and how you prepare for what comes next. Imagine it, after more than 3,000 years, an ancient sound is about to rise again, one no generation has ever fully witnessed. The sound that brought down the walls of Jericho, that marked the year of Jubilee, that echoed when Abraham was stopped by God before sacrificing his son. And now, for the first time in history, this sound will not remain within Israel. It will be broadcast to every continent, every home, every ear on earth. On September 24th, 2025, right in the heart of Jerusalem, 100 priests will raise 100 shofars at the exact same moment. A sound so powerful it will shake the ground. And through modern technology, billions will hear it live. In all of Jewish history, through every Feast of Trumpets, never has Israel turned the sacred call into a global spectacle. Never once have 100 shofars been sounded in perfect unison and broadcast to the world.
Full moon
so why now?
Something like that.
Scripture gives us clues. The shofar has never been just an instrument.
That hasn't
it is
happened
the trumpet
ever.
of heaven,
like
the signal of divine intervention,
up with this
the call
so
to repentance, and above all, the herald of the Messiah.
One.
For centuries, believers have held on to Paul's promise.
There's the mosque.
For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. 1 Thessalonians 4:16. So, what does it mean that Israel has chosen this year, this feast, this moment to sound the 100 shofars before the world? Could this be the sign believers have long awaited? Could September 24th, 2025 mark a turning point of prophecy unfolding before our eyes? Do not look away, because what is coming is not just a ritual. It may be a declaration from heaven itself. The time has come to ask, what if this is the moment the prophets foresaw? The shofar is not just an ancient instrument.
Too many
it has
videos
always
like
been
this
the voice
on
of heaven breaking into human
YouTube?
history.
Yeah, go
the
go
alarm
back
of divine
it's
intervention,
like
the cry
spiel.
that calls
like,
people to
there
repentance,
was a video underneath
the sound that
I think
declares the
was like
presence of Almighty.
CBS or something. It was like, quick. Yeah, there's CBN News. I bet that's just a quick clip.
Rosh Hashanah literally means head of the year, the new year. But biblically, it's much more than that. In the book of Leviticus, it's called Yom Teruah, the day of the blowing of trumpets, or ram's horn, the judgment day.
The only commandment during Rosh Hashanah is actually to hear the sound of the shofar. And so everybody gathering in the synagogue to hear the sound of the shofar. It's something that people connect to their soul, to hear the sound of the shofar.
The piercing sound of the shofar is meant to remind the hearers to repent of their sins and to make things right with their brothers and sisters. The rabbis say that reconciliation with God and man confounds the enemy.
A shofar is a musical instrument made from a horn. This is the oldest musical instrument. And the Jewish Orthodox we have a committee to hear the sound of the shofar during New Year, our Judgment Day.
As part of a two-family business, Eli Ribach is a third-generation shofar maker.
The process is grinding, polishing, then we open a mouthpiece. This is quick, but it's a lot of experience and a lot of hand work, because each horn is a different size, different thickness, so you have to be experienced to make a good shofar.
The ram's horn is used as the traditional shofar because when Abraham showed his willingness to sacrifice his son Isaac, God provided a ram to be used in his place.
Actually, all type of horns are kosher except of a cow.
Oh, I don't need to
That's
kill my
because
son.
the
No,
Jewish
you still
people
gotta
don't
kill.
want to remind
It's not
God
your
of the
son,
time
yeah.
Israel
Yeah.
worshipped the
Kill
golden
something. Yeah, you
calf
gotta kill
in the
something.
wilderness. Besides the distinctive tones of the different horns, there are 3 different blasts sounded. The shofar is blown in synagogues and at the western wall each morning for a month before the holiday to give plenty of time for repentance.
You and I both know that we need a lot of reminders in our daily life to repent, to think of the things of God. It's like an alarm clock for the soul.
Ribach says it's not just Jewish people who blow the shofar.
We sell the shofar all over the world. We sell it to Jewish, to Christian, Messianic people, evangelist people.
Rosh Hashanah is the feast of the 7th month,
That's just wrong,
but in
man.
Jewish
Yeah.
tradition represents the new year.
At the coronation of the kings of Israel, the shofars would blow. They would announce the new king, or they would announce the coming of the king. Oftentimes in the Christian world, shofars are blown throughout the entire year. But in Judaism and in Jewish practice, those shofars are only blown for a very limited time throughout the year. During this time, the month of Elul and Rosh Hashanah.
Boaz Michael, founder of
Yeah,
First
we-
Fruits
we
of
blow
Zion,
ours during
says
sports
that's
events.
a foreshadow for those who believe in
ones are awesome.
Yeshua, Jesus.
And they tell us something. They're speaking to us. They're reminding us of something. And one of the things they're reminding us of is the creation of the world, the coming of the King Messiah one day at
But we
this
still
time,
haven't seen
the
all 100
coronation
of
of his
them
kingdom
doing
here
their
on
thing.
earth. This is what the shofar is.
Right? Like
Once again, they're just fucking talking about it. Although this at least they gave us some clips of some people practicing, I guess.
What if a single sound could
See,
ripple?
oh my
They
God.
remain confined to live shofar
Did it-
ceremony.
see, maybe it didn't happen. What?
The Tope ratio.
Nothing.
Wait, what does that say? September 24th? What's the date about?
Guys, we have just
you
begun
go.
a very important holiday of Rosh Hashanah, but it seems that this one will not be like any other we have witnessed in history. If we understand what Rosh Hashanah is,
Yeah,
that it
this
calls
looks
for
right.
repentance,
Yeah.
that it is a deeply connected holiday with the hope of coming of the Messiah, and if we connect that with the events that are now happening in the world, it becomes really
You
significant.
mean right there where
So
you are?
why is this so
These
significant,
events
guys?
that are coming
Well,
that
it's
we're making
significant
happen.
because when the Jewish people are calling for repentance, look what the world is doing. Right now, most of the world is dividing God's land and announcing a new country on the territory that was given by God to Israel. And because it's happening now, the time of repentance where the world should repent, but instead they're choosing to turn back from God and show that they are in power. They want to show God that they decide. but they are very, very wrong. Because God gives
What?
a
I'm so
very
confused. What
clear
is he talking
warning
about?
in the prophet Joel.
He's saying that
against
the rest of the
dividing
world is
his land.
against
He says that
Israel
he
right
will
now, which is
judge the
what it says in the
nations
Bible. Everyone's
for
going to be
this
against Israel,
specific reason,
right? And
that
he's like,
they
"Oh, everyone's
divided
against
his
Israel."
land
When
that
it says
he
in the
gave
Bible, we're
to
supposed to
the
have this
Jewish
land,
people.
right, from the
And now
Palestinians.
the
So,
nations are
you know,
doing just
they're
that
wrong. That's
on
what
the
he's saying.
most holy days in the Bible.
He's like,
We're
I don't
living
see why you
like
guys
in the
can't just read
times
the
of
Bible
the
and
Tower
say,
of
"See, this
Babel,
is our
where the
land."
nations, instead of repenting, they are raising their hands up and thinking they will be the new gods. But the world is breaking down. Everybody talks about peace, but there is no peace. There is conflict upon conflict, and the earth is burning right now. And guys, we just had a blood moon happening before the holiday
That's
of
what
Rosh
it was,
Hashanah.
okay.
And usually I would be like, well, it's a blood moon. They happened in the past. But if we combine it with everything that is happening now in Israel, in the Holy Land, then this becomes quite interesting that it's happening now. And I don't
That's
know
for
if you
sure.
know this, but
Yeah.
if you check for earthquakes, they are happening everywhere right now. On every continent of the world, the ground is now shaking. Meanwhile, when Israel is determined to eliminate Hamas in Gaza, a great coalition of nations is rising up against Israel. This is, of course, reminding us of a great coalition that we read in the Bible that will attack Israel, the war of Gog and Magog, written in the prophet Ezekiel. And this is one of the final conflicts that both Jews and Christians believe that will happen before the coming of the Messiah. And of course, as the nation...
Well, we just know once that fucking dome comes down, man, that's the spark.
Yeah.
You know it's gonna happen here. One of these days, someone's gonna fucking blow that thing up.
Sure. Yeah.
And, you know, maybe at the detriment of other, you know, Jews who are around there, perhaps praying or something, and then they're going to be caught up in the blast. But, oh, Hamas blew up their own place.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really hard to say what the future is going to bring, because another way of looking at it is they've done all these horrible things for reasons, and when the magic doesn't come true, like the people, I was reading different stories of like, my aunt gave me $40,000 because she thinks the rapture is happening and she doesn't need the money. What should I do with it? Like, because I
Pass it on
know
to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what should she do in that? So give it back?
Yeah. I mean, probably not.
There's a good group of people out there that are alive today.
I bet they gave it to the church, right? They're like, oh, you can have it. I'm not going to need it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, if they didn't have family to give it to, right? And you're just like,
oh, there's got to be a lot of those people.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you're just old and they don't really have anyone, you know, left to give their money to. You know, they're just spending it here and there, and they've got a lot of it in the bank. And like, well, I don't need rapture money. I'll just give it on to the pasture.
Yeah. And then, oh shit, the rapture didn't happen. Can I have the money back?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. We can't do that. Gladys, you know we can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But the Messiah won't return because
God will bring it to you tenfold.
Yeah. I thought I was taught that the Messiah would come back when the conditions we were good enough, you know, and that was our carrot on the stick to just be better people. Was if you be good enough, Jesus will come back. Like, okay, so
well, shit has to get to really bad though. That was what I
that was another
thought,
side,
right? Like, first of all, you have to have the Antichrist. Pretty sure that was a major part of the whole thing. Like, you need the Antichrist kicking around, and then that's what people. He's the false Messiah, right? People are like, oh, this is Jesus. He's so great,
Yeah.
You know, and he's doing false Messiah stuff, like curing the sick and healing the blind and that kind of thing. but it's not real. You know, it's like curing them with science maybe or something like that. You know what I mean? Where it's like still curing them, but it's not by any kind of miraculous hand. And then that's when I think Jesus is supposed to show up after everyone's kind of like, oh, here's our Messiah. And then Jesus shows up and he's like, no, I'm the true Messiah. And then everyone's supposed to kind of choose. They know, oh, that's the bad guy. And this is the true Christ. And then everyone who chooses right gets to go up. And then the ones who choose wrong, I think they stay on earth and Satan has a reign of 1,000 years.
Yeah.
You know, I know that's supposed to come in somewhere. I'm gonna have to ask ChatGPT to lay this out sometime. Just be like, give me like a fucking play-by-play how the Bible's supposed to work out here.
Well, I I feel that there's two camps when it comes to Christianity, or at least let's say religious, and they kind of blur. And the one camp is the evil ones that like we're talking about, that 100% believe in the magic of it and try to incite the magic and then generally use it to service their own ends. Then there's another camp that will excuse all of the weird stuff.
Okay.
And then just twist the words so it makes sure it fits in a box where everybody treats everybody nice and everybody plays nice. So someone would say that, oh, well, that story that you're reading, that is just a story, but the story teaches you about voting.
Right.
Yeah. You're
That's what have been like fairy tales of the past, right? They were like, you know, stay out of the woods, stay on the path so wolves don't eat you kind of shit.
And you got to make it like bombastic and fantastical enough that someone's going to remember.
That's how memory works. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard a fantastic, someone talking about the past of a lot of directions and map and just like stuff you need to know was embedded in song and dance. So like every night by the fire, you would do like your set, but it included like the stars to the east, and then you point over that way, and oh yeah, if we want meat, we go that way, and if we want, it's just to remind yourself over and over again. Yeah, that's there, and we do this here. I remember. Yeah, I'm good. And you had to just walk everywhere, anyways. That's when that is needed, and then I kind of believe too that the people back then treated their church and religion not like how we're depicting it. More of like a service center, I would say.
Yeah, that's probably fair bet.
Yeah, it was in my mind, and I would want some kind of chat person or someone to debate me on this, that ancient religion was like your one-stop shop for I'm destitute and I need to be turned around. They would help you with that. I'm having like mental problems. Your priest would talk you through those things, and using the Bible as a guideline to keep you in certain parameters to have society work and function.
Like what time, like period are you thinking this is? First century, like Jesus time, or like later, like
1100 to let's say like 1800 or something like that.
Okay.
Because during that span of thousands of years, like huge span of time, it got weird. You know, the early monks, the early Christian monks in England were the ones that invented mead, right?
Okay. Yeah.
They were brewers. And the church was meant as your nightclub as well.
Right.
Like you had your bars, sure, but that's where people went to party, was at the church.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was your community center.
Sure.
Then
you'd have like a midnight mass where you guys
are so like everybody went and
shots.
It's still that way today, but it's so entrenched in tradition, and it's got to be like this. And if you do something different, then it's schisms and you're an offshoot.
Right.
Now you're Latter-day Saints. Now you're United. Now you're Unitarian. There's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many. But the core of all of that, if you want to clear all that out, it's just like you want somewhere to go regularly, meet other people, have community, and guidance when you need it.
Right. And ritual.
Yeah, a little bit of ritual.
Yeah. Well, I think ritual's a big part of it. Like, that's what people, they like the addictive kind of thing, cigarettes, the motion of putting in your fingers to your mouth,
Oh yeah.
like that's the addictive part I've heard is like,
Yeah.
that's the more addictive part is the fingers to the mouth action than it is the actual smoking, that's why the gum and stuff doesn't always work as well.
I can agree to that.
So yeah, I think that, it would probably be like the physical action that really is what gets people hooked on things sometimes.
Think about how much you do that in a day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
Like work a little bit depending on your job,
Right.
but no other time. No other time, or exercise maybe,
Mm-hmm.
stretching. Though those things have it, and I think just as humans, we like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Step 1, step 2, step 3, done.
Yeah, that's why people, like the military too, right? Like they just like having that, like, okay, I know, like I just got to get up. I just put on my green shirt, my green pants, and I stand in line, and they're going to tell me what to do.
Yeah,
and some people just love that.
I do.
Yeah, you'd be all right.
I take to that kind of life. Yeah.
Yeah, I've thought about it before, but I'm like, oh man, I watch like military movies, and you got some like guy, like, Private, why are your shoes so dirty? And it's like, sorry, sir. I walked in a little mud puddle there on the way. You better get down and shine those shoes. We do not have money shoes here.
Well, there is balance to it. Going the other way, it sucks balls. Like having everything at your disposal.
Mm-hmm.
Just like no restriction whatsoever, and then living out every whim that you have.
Sure.
I went through periods of time like that, and it's not good.
Yeah, well, some people can't handle that much freedom, and it breaks them, and they just that's where they fall into addiction cycles.
Yeah, addictions. Then it becomes its own ritual,
right?
Like it's like a roundabout way of getting the same result.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a boredom to it, a gross boredom.
Yeah.
Of like, it's always good to know that you can strive for a little more, and like something's just out of reach. Having everything, every need met, like heaven before you're due for heaven.
Right.
It's an icky feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah. That. So, but if I stayed in military life, I would get upset eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I bet you I could do it for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. By the end of that, I'd be like, all right, get off my back.
Oh, yeah.
Do not tell me to get off your back, soldier. Now you will do 100 push-ups while I am on your back.
Well, like take for instance, me going to a resort. It was like you're free for like just do whatever you want whenever you want. But we have this activity at 11 o'clock by the pool, and this activity over here at this time. And so you're already like mapping out your day of just like, okay, I'll be here at this, and then I'll do this, and then I'll do that.
Right.
Yeah, it's still all the same shit, but just with fun shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you ever go to like many camps when you were a kid? Like you know, where you're away for a week or something like that? Like, yeah.
Yeah, a lot actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never got to do any of those really until I was like, I don't know, 15, I think, maybe around 15.
They suck balls too.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was like, they're usually religious camps, right?
Oh,
they're
yeah,
the ones
yeah.
that put it on. Not always, right? Sometimes it's like a scouts kind of thing or something, right? But
that always has religious overtones too.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've only ever been to like straight up like, oh, this is like a Bible camp, and you go there, and a buddy of mine was going, and his parents were like, oh, there's room for you if you want to come. And my mom was like, oh, okay, sure, get rid of them for a week. That sounds great.
Yeah.
And then so I go, and like we were like, they gave us like bows and arrows, and we did like archery classes, and then they fucking gave us shotguns, and we were fucking shooting skeet out of the sky, and like all this shit at a fucking Bible camp. I was like, oh, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had no idea I was so good at fucking shooting skeet.
Yeah.
Like a double barrel shotgun. They're like, watch where you're pointing that.
Well, that sounds like a vacation to me, you know, like having fun shit to do and like, you know, coming back and going, oh, I'm so good at shooting shotguns. I fucking love it.
I thought it was cool. And they just left like, you know, while they were open for the day, they would leave like all the archery equipment just fucking down at the, you know, the hay bales. And like, if you just wanted to go for a stroll, and like, oh man, I kind of feel like shooting some arrows, and like go down there and fucking shoot off some arrows. And it was really cool.
Yeah.
They had moving targets and stuff all, you know, like on like strings and shit like that. Like, you know, just like little pulley system set up, right?
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy, but like it was still cool.
That's a really good positive story.
Yeah.
Like they did have archery at the resort I went to. So I did do the arco and flecha. Yeah, that kind of what I experienced out of like the few camps. Maybe I just have like a cynical view, or I just the kind of people I ended up with.
Mm-hmm.
The kids always seem to like mildly hate each other, you know, because they're shoved into this situation. Like I have to be with these people,
right?
Like, I don't like any of you. And the any like adult or any supervision, they all know each other, right? Like from another city, another camp, like they're involved in the organization.
Mm-hmm.
So like, oh hey, it's that guy. Oh, I'm gonna meet you. And then like as kids, you're just kind of like sitting around, like now we're all alone.
Yeah,
and there's nothing to do, so you just walk away. And like in terms of activities and like doing stuff, like maybe I did need to go to a Bible camp, like where there was like people who were interested in the children.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of the times it's people just looking to collect money or like some kind of token of something, and just say that they did it. They really don't care. Fair game. We're still looked after loosely, but that was the 90s, right? Like as a kid, you can walk and you weren't declared missing for a long time.
Yeah. I think that's where that fucking whole 3-day thing comes from, right? Like,
yeah,
could be missing like 72 hours before they're like, okay, he could be claimed missing.
Oh, that's shortened up over the years, definitely.
Yeah, now I think it's like in 24 hours you can get them called. I think it's depending on age or something like that. But
yeah, back in our day, it was like 2 steps for a missing person.
Yeah,
just where are they, and then psychic, because you were probably dead. Yeah. He was in a train car. D7.
Yeah. Hobos took his body.
Yeah, happened. And it's happening way more now. The zombie people. Yeah, at least around my area, they're getting a little worse. I tried to go grocery shopping, and a guy on a bike with a machete was just menacing around.
Jesus.
Yeah, just riding up and down where people are trying to get in and out and get their groceries done. You know, 7 o'clock in the morning.
With a machete.
Yeah.
You know he's got good intentions.
Yeah. Yeah, you could tell he hasn't slept yet.
Yeah.
He's still going.
Thinks everyone's a giant pineapple. Get back here.
Yeah. The thing he's trying to find, he thinks, is in the grocery store parking lot. It's not, man. Just go home. But he probably also doesn't have a home.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah, like down by my place, like they've got this big one-way street that kind of comes down from the highway, and there, at one time there's this like big field there off to the side. It was just all weeds, and it was a big homeless encampment for like last winter and then into this summer. And there was like fucking probably like 14 tents there or something. And it was just a trash heap, you know, all around it, how they tend to do, right?
Yeah.
And then the cops and everyone came through like once the weather cleared up, and they had the bulldozers, and they came in there and fucking just scraped everything up and put it all into the fucking dumpsters. And then, you know, took out all the weeds and everything there, so that like, you know, it was like nowhere for people to kind of hide, you know?
Yeah.
And it was fine. And then now, just last week, I noticed there was another fucking huge tent popped up. I was like, oh no, it's starting again.
Yeah.
But then today, on my way home from work, there was like fucking 7, you know, city workers all around that whole area. and they had a bulldozer again, and fucking, it was only just one tent there. But when I drove home from work, there was no tents anymore. So I was like, oh wow, they're on it this time.
Yeah.
They don't want to let it get too carried away. For a while there, they were just letting people like, I think near Gage Park, there was like, huge encampments of people.
Correct.
And they were going to the neighbors who lived like off of Gage Park with extension cords and just hooking into their houses and shit like that.
Also correct.
Yeah. Like, fuck.
They even went as far as to get a generator and bury it under the ground.
Yeah, that was the fire, right? The guy that caught fire last winter. Like, I was driving like up the hill, and half the fucking hill was on fire, and cops the firefighters were all fucking trying to put it out. And I was like, what? How the fuck did that happen in the winter time? And then you saw that there was like a tent encampment, and you're like, oh God, I hope no one like fell asleep with a cigarette or something. That's the first thing I'm thinking.
Yeah. I'm very interested to know the A to B on that one. Like, is it a symptom of the way our world went? Like, did they get there? If the world was different, would they still be in that position?
Right.
If we were still in the 90s, let's say. Because I think the one factor is definitely fentanyl.
Yeah.
That has turned them all into zombies. It's supposed to be dirt cheap. I don't know what the price scale is, but it's enough for people to feel comfortable in tents all year round in Canada.
Yeah, right.
So like they're going somewhere to like just shoot up and then zonk out, or like a lot of them zonk out in the city streets too.
If it's super cheap here, then what does that tell you about where it's made, right?
Yeah, it's made here.
If it was exotic and like people were bringing it across, then there's
it's
no way all
not.
these homeless people would be fucking scrounging up enough change, begging and whatever to get their hits.
Yeah.
But as it stands, I bet you they only need to raise $5 to get a fucking hit from a guy around there, and that'll probably last them like most of the day or something.
Yeah. The I want to look now. I want to look up like how it's made and like how cheap and easy it is. What I did see was how Quaaludes were made in Africa.
Oh yeah,
because Quaaludes turns out are still a thing there.
Interesting.
Yeah, they like them.
They just got moved from.
Yeah, they don't even know what heroin is yet.
Oh wow.
Or it's like just got introduced, but like heroin just completely missed them.
And this is where?
South Africa.
South Africa. That's funny.
So I saw how that was made, and this guy made it in the courtyard of his house, kind of like a backyard, hidden enough like where he can do it.
Okay.
And he boiled this black stuff. They said it was this chemical with this. They explained the whole process, and it was basically this black chunky stuff. Boil it with this one liquid, which is cancer causing. The guy who was making it, I have blood in my pee.
Oh, Jesus.
He's like, yeah, you probably have bladder cancer, man.
Yeah, dude.
Just making it cause like that cloth you have, that's not a 3M mask.
Yeah.
So
I see that shit all day long.
Once it's boiled, then another additive is put in there, and then he dumps it in a tub and just starts stirring and stirring. Then a white powder is put in, and that turns it into like actual like chalky powder.
Okay.
Once that's done, it's cleaned and strained through bed pillows.
Okay.
Yeah, the pillowcases, I mean to say.
Oh, okay.
They press that in pills, and away they go. And he goes, "That's what I got for money. This is my job."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even though he's gonna die pretty soon of cancer, but still, like he's doing what he can. If I was in his position, I didn't have a lot of future prospects, I'd probably do the same.
Yeah, that's wild though.
But just it goes to show how easy with like dollar store items, except for the hot plate.
Yeah, right.
He was able to make this. So fentanyl's probably the same, where somebody somewhere, I just boil this in here and then I mix it with that, and yeah, it's giving me bladder cancer, but what I got out the end, I can sell for $5,000 on the street.
Yeah, exactly.
From like half an afternoon of work.
Wouldn't that be nice?
kind of checks out, kind of feels right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like that could be hidden here in this city. Where are the houses that are making it and then distributing?
Yeah, that's true.
How have the cops not like cracked down on it?
Unless they're in on it.
Yeah, unless they're in on it.
They got to have at least a foot in there.
That's a big question in all of this is how did it get that out of control when cops are doing the regular jobs, they're arresting people, day to day, and then this explosion and they're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, what? What are you talking about? You know? And I'm not saying that's simplification, but like the results are out there. I see it.
Mm-hmm.
How are the homeless people not all arrested?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you can't arrest somebody for not having a home, but like, how do you not like, look, you can't do this. You can't just live here. We need to put you somewhere to clean you up or rehabilitate you and send you back out.
Did you hear that they're gonna in the States they're gonna charge $100,000 for the visas? Yeah, so they figure like, oh, if they bump it to $100,000, then like if you're a company and you want to hire on someone, you're like, sorry, I can't find any American workers that are the right price. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, you can buy someone that's foreign for 10 grand.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that's that is pretty standard. We were looking into that, the wife and I, for her family.
Oh yeah.
And what you're describing is we looked at it. It's actually a little more expensive than that, and there's a lot more involved. It's tough, but you can do it. Yeah,
it's a hustle.
You have to the 10 grand is more or less like the paperwork, the lawyers, submission, all that. Then you can expect 10 grand to go out the window.
Right off the bat. Hey?
Right off the bat. Then you need another 30, 10 to 30, somewhere in there. You have to have that sitting in your bank.
Oh, wow. Like just waiting for you?
That's with you personally.
Yeah.
And that's like your retainer for them.
So that's your personal amount you have to keep in your savings account to bypass the fees or whatever. How they do that for like, certain credit cards sometimes and whatever. They'll waive the annual fee if you keep a balance of $5,000 a month.
Yeah, I think it's also for like if they commit crime and they need to extradite and do like they have some retainer money to help with that. Because that shit gets really expensive too, right?
Oh yeah, retainers are expensive.
Yeah,
that's what my mom always used to tell me at school.
Oh yeah, retainers are super expensive. But once you have them, they're kind of nice where you're just like, do it now. And you don't have to like wait to make a payment and then take a step and wait to make a payment and then take a step. So yeah, that's where the rich get richer.
Yeah. Classic. Eh?
Classic. Yeah. So yeah. Do you want to move on to Mouthy Buddha?
Yeah, we were gonna continue on with the human trafficking series. I thought this was kind of also a good connection because I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts today, Theories of the Third Kind, and they did an episode called Isaac Cappy, and if you'll recall, he was that actor who was coming out and saying that like Seth Green and Tom Hanks and all these people that he had been at parties with them and that they were pedophiles. And then he was like doing a live stream and he was saying like, I'm not drinking, I'm not doing any kind of drugs, I am not suicidal. And then like a month later, they had his body jumped off of a bridge right into an oncoming truck.
Oh,
yeah. So anyways, they were going over the story of this guy and it was a little more in depth. I mean, like, that's why I like their show. They always kind of like dig deep and then they find something that you've never really heard about that story. Right. And so like, I guess there was this like campground that he had been investigating. Like, I forget how he had tracked it down. somehow it was this like fucking campground that he discovered all these like high level Turkish people were going. And it just like a random campground in the middle of nowhere in the desert in New Mexico, I think it was, or something. So it was just like you had to find this like kind of abandoned little road, you know, out in the forest. It was like an unmarked road and that kind of went up a hill, and you had to like find this and go up there and then travel a few kilometers. And then there was like all these like really nice cabins that were just like out in the woods. And then few people that had like tried to go stay there, like, oh, we had heard about this place and it's so hard to find, we couldn't find it. And the owner came out with a shotgun and was like, get off my property. They're like, we're here to like stay at the campground. He's like, it's closed, get off my property. Chased them out with a shotgun. And then so anyways, I guess Isaac Cappy at some point had tracked this place down and kind of tied it into these pedophile networks. And he was talking in this live stream, and he was named the campground and said like, oh, I'm going to be doing some more investigating into it. And then a month later he had died. And then, but he had said like, oh, if I die, you know, I have a kill switch. So like I've talked to people, they're going to just anonymously release videos on the internet that are kind of like, you know, revealing for people in case I die. Right. And so I think in that Pedogate movie we were watching before from Mouthy Buddha, they showed this clip that was supposed to be the kill switch for Cappy. And it shows like it was those little girls that were like all, you know, walking around in that place. And I said that I thought that was Epstein's place, right? Because of the way it was laid out.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, so it turns out that it apparently that video was taken at this Turkish campsite. They have a big fucking like building that's in the middle, like between all the camps. And it's like, you know, almost like a little temple thing.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a Turkish style temple. And all these foreign rich Turkish people go to this camp, which is a random fucking, you know, random camp, you know, like it's like super hard to find. It like exists basically just on paper, you know, like you can Google it. It won't tell you how to get there, but like the name will be there. It's got reviews from people who are like, I got chased by a guy with a shotgun. Don't go here, you know?
Yeah.
And then a few people I think have actually stayed there somehow, and they've like been like, oh, this is like so shitty. There's like nothing going on. There's nobody here, and like no amenities of any kind or whatever. Right. So yeah,
okay.
Very interesting.
Well, do you think it's going to be in this?
I don't think it'll be in this, but you know, if we wanted to, we could probably play a bit of their podcast because it's on.
There are some who believe that the modern world continues to evolve morally. While this might be true about the general public, unfortunately, it seems not to be true when it pertains to those in power.
I think this is part 4 or 5.
One of the most bitterly debated subjects in classical archaeology is whether or not the Carthaginians, an ancient civilization in North Africa, killed their children for their gods.
Yeah, and we do know about some like Iraqi like
evidence for the worship of Moloch is found in the Old Testament, with variant names Molech, Melech, and Baal, meaning Lord, and also the Phoenician theonym for Moloch is MLK.
MLK.
If the classical reports are accurate, Moloch represents a deity or symbology associated with child sacrifice and is fervently despised in the Old Testament. Other than claims from Alex Jones during his escapades with Bohemian Grove, no archaeological or historical evidence states Moloch or any of his variant names resemble an owl. Rabbinical tradition depicted Moloch as a bronze statue with the head of a bull and a large human body where victims were thrown into fire. The Canaanite deity has also been drawn and referred to as Kronos, due to the parallel mytheme of the Titan god devouring
Kronos, the god of time.
The ritualistic intimations of Baal and Moloch have existed for thousands of years, with modern reimaginings depicting the idol as a machine. Other controversial interpretations can be found in the origins of Freemasonry.
You know what this is called?
As revealed in the Royal Arch Degree.
When they burn bodies on like a sacrificial pit. It's called a Holocaust. That's what that's where the word comes from.
Really?
Yeah. Specifically, I think it originally comes from Jewish offerings of the same thing originally, and then like they stopped doing that.
Oh.
Yeah.
In the rituals of exaltation, the name of the great architect of the universe is a trinity of words. Ja-Bulan, translating to Yahweh, Baal, and Osiris, the ancient Egyptian god of fertility, resurrection, and the underworld. In Tunisia, just outside Jerusalem, children were said to have been sacrificed to Baal by being, quote, passed through fire in an area called a Tophet.
A Tophet. Yeah.
According to
I've heard
Rashi,
that.
the single most influential commentator of the Middle Ages, the massive statue of, quote, Molech, which was of copper, and they would heat it up from underneath with its hands spread out, and they would place the child on his hands, and he would be burnt and mown, and the priests would beat drums so the father should not hear his son's voice and take pity, end quote. It's pertinent to understand the Hebrew Bible referred to Moloch worship as Canaanite idolatry, straying away from Judaism. The quotes from Leviticus are clear.
And the Canaanites
But the
were
religion
just
of
above
Carthage
them
in North
in
Africa
ancient
managed to
times.
continue the Canaanite ritual.
Yeah.
With several modifications,
The Canaanites were the
what the Jewish
Palestinians
virtual
today.
library called the cult of Moloch, creating the largest Tophet ever
Canaan,
discovered,
the land of Canaan,
covering
is
almost
the land
4
of Israel
miles
today.
with 9 descending levels. Rabbinical tradition stated, quote, the body of Moloch was hollow, divided into 7 compartments. In one, which they put flour. In the 2nd through 6th, they put animals. And in the 7th, a child, which were all burned together by heating the statue inside. Initially, scholars interpreted these claims as exaggerated fictions, stemming from Greek and Roman propaganda, who publicly shamed these cults as barbaric. But in 1923, French-led excavations at Carthage found some 20,000 burials containing cremated infant and animal bones kept in urns, inscribed with dedications to Baal and the Phoenician theonym for Moloch.
Okay, well,
They
that
discovered
kind of
long
changes that.
genealogical pedigrees, signifying noble families, with one lineage stretching back 16 generations, suggesting the ritual was, quote, an elite practice. The University of Oxford published a study of the findings, concluding the Greek and Roman accounts were true, and not, as modern scholars believed, propaganda. They also reaffirmed previous analyses that because the ritual was so expensive, only the wealthiest and most powerful in Carthage could have practiced it. The cult of Moloch was real, an unspeakable evil carried out by wealthy humans while their society was flourishing. An author of the study said, quote, we should not imagine that ancient people thought like us and were horrified by the same things. But remember, the Greeks and the Romans were just as appalled then as we are now. Even many animals have an unquenchable desire for the safety of their offspring. Something curious happened to the rulers of Carthage long ago. What was it? And with the cult of Moloch substantiated, it would seem that anyone knowledgeable of its horror would react with abhorrence and disgust. And with most of the world having no idea about this, why then, or how then, does Hillary Clinton know about Moloch?
Yeah.
In her email.
In previous volumes, I outlined the strangely deviant website created by the current VP of Pew Charitable Trust, Tamara Luzzatto.
That's right.
Outlining her odd, sexual, borderline torturous rhetorical proclivities aimed toward her grandchildren. The names of Tamara's grandchildren are Ruby, Emerson, and Meve Luzzatto. In this leaked email between Tamara and John Podesta, Tamara refers to a get-together at a farm, where she refers to a heated pool. She continues, saying, quote, Ruby, Emerson, and Meve Luzzatto, 11, 9, and almost 7. So you'll have some further entertainment, and they will be in that pool for sure. But there's more to this story than initially perceived, much more. In 2008, the website Mama's Midwives published a home birth story written by the biological mom of these children, Alexandra Tidings Luzzatto. In the story, she mentions Ruby and Emerson, then says, quote, and with the next contraction, Miv Chaim Luzzatto arrived. This name is the female iteration of Moshe, or Moses Chaim Luzzatto, a messianic cult leader who promoted black magic in the 18th century. Critics might argue that this comparison is arbitrary and point to other notable uses of the Luzzatto name. But among all documented uses, only one has Chaim as its middle name. Additionally, the name Miv is...
My name is Asim Japisheva. I'm a journalist, screenwriter, and a media producer. For more than 15 years, I've told stories about human rights and justice. But
is both a historical and pop-modern female variant for Moses. Either Alexandra named her child after an occult messiah by accident, or these families understand the significance of their names and their lineage. Consider she's also part of the Tidings family, a powerful genealogy of U.S. Democratic politicians dating back to the 18th century. In the award-winning book, The Pursuit of Heresy, author Hofen states, quote, "Shortly after receiving a Magidic confirmation of his unique mission, Luzzatto joined a secret circle where he would communicate with apparitions called Magids that prophesized events and offered a visionary hidden knowledge. But his ceremonies were small and were covened only between a secret cult that summoned the dead." Alexandra Tidings also comes from a line of Crowleys. Her sister, Paige Crowley, named after her mother's longtime partner Arthur Crowley, whose father was the first Crowley. Some might claim that any comparison to the English occultist Aleister Crowley, based solely on similar last names, would be a reach. However, the fact that Alexandra named her daughter after Moshe Chaim Luzzatto points to an awareness and preoccupation with genealogy that extends also to her elders. Additionally, Aleister Crowley's original name was Alexander Crowley, the male iteration of Alexandra. The idea this was a fluke made by powerful pedigrees is absurd. The associations couldn't be more obvious, unless of course there's evidence that people in this family have been publicly associated with the occult.
I was telling you, Crowley's grandson was on Wicked, right? He's the costume designer for Wicked, the movie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And I think one of the Batman movies that had the Sandy Hook in it.
It's important to understand
that
not
they have
all
a map that
interpretations
says
of the
Sandy Hook
occult are inherently
right in
sinister.
Batman.
Many of us might enjoy horoscopes or getting our palms read. One mustn't devolve into the fundamentalists who went nuts over Harry Potter, right? But just as Islamic apologists obfuscate the brutality in the Quran, so too do followers of Aleister Crowley. In his book, Magic in Theory and Practice, he states, "A male child of perfect innocence and high intelligence is the most satisfactory and suitable victim. The bloody sacrifice, though more dangerous, is more efficacious, and for nearly all purposes, human sacrifice is the best." Referring to himself as the Beast 666, Crowley was an individualist, arch-Satanist who created the cult of Thelema, the Grand Lodge Ordo Templi Orientis, or
But I
OTO,
wouldn't believe him.
and a ritual called sex magic, which includes drinking mixtures of semen and blood.
He did a lot of that and produced
Even after
nothing.
his death, through his famously shallow and insidious
So we
libertine
think-
ethic,
we think he
do
did,
what
but
thou
he did
wilt,
a lot of, like,
he's continued to gain
ceremonies by
followers all
himself,
over the
like in the
world,
pyramid and
some
shit.
well-meaning, others not.
It was
For
kind of
several
an excuse
decades,
to
the
do
Kipley
heroin.
sex cult led by Colin Batley psychologically terrorized and raped vulnerable children. After being jailed in 2011, investigators found that each follower had a laminated version of Aleister Crowley's Book of the Law. One girl testified that she was taken to other homes and forced to have sex with strangers at, quote, satanic orgies. And the leader had Rottweiler dogs that were vicious to everyone. It's apparent that many followers of Crowley mirror the countless Muslim
Who the hell is
scholars
that?
who obfuscate their prophets' well-documented pedophilia. For example, this verse from Aleister's diary was so disturbing, even a Thelemite asked a forum of followers if Aleister really did this to his baby. Quote, "Her breasts itch with lust of incest. She hath given her 2-year bastard boy to her lewd lover's whim of sodomy. She hath tongued her 5-month girl and asked its father to deflower it. Thin shrieks of a young child that her beast god slave mate is torturing for her pleasure." End quote. Some said it was probably poetic hyperbole, or a drug-induced stupor, or saw no problem at all. Others said, quote, the whole topic of pedophilia is central for coming to full understanding the eon of the child, end quote. Another said Crowley was tame compared to TV shows like Family Guy, and that Alistair may have had pedophile tendencies, but he wasn't a real pedophile. A real true pedophile is simply a lover of youth. Philia is a word meaning love, like agape or thelema. There are many others who excuse pederasty, so I'll end it with another Thelemite who said, quote, you could argue, I'm sure, that a person who finds themselves in love with a child has the right to follow up his or her urges with action, so long as the kid was also up for it.
Okay, so what I agree with in that one is calling a distinction between pedophiles and just the different type of evil.
Right.
Like a true pedophile thinks of their life and like take for instance I had a buddy that was gay.
Mm-hmm.
And he would say like I want the same kind of relationship you got with your wife, but just like with a dude.
Right.
You know? That I understood that. I'm like, yeah, okay, so that's what you're into. A true pedophile thinks like that about children.
Right.
You know, can't compute where the wrongdoing is. The pictures on the mantle, bringing to see parents,
right?
Making all the same plans us adults do with other adults. Whether it's two men, who cares? They want to build a life and do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I call issue with that life with a child other than, you know, the parents making a child. That's not right. You can't do it. I don't care. I don't care if you say that you need to or like you don't understand or whatever. You can't.
Yeah. Pass. Hard pass.
What it's trying to say and make light of in this, I hear, is that Aleister Crowley was like, oh, it wasn't pedophilia. It was committing the ultimate evil.
Yeah.
Like
semantics.
Yeah, it's semantics, and that too is a hard pass. You know, you can't like. It's the same as saying like, I just want to explore everything that has to do with sex. I'm not gay.
Right.
Well, you're a little gay if you slept with a guy. You know, and no shame, but like, fact is fact. You're a little gay.
Yeah.
You got to touch a gay.
Just a touch.
Yeah. Or we call that bisexual. You're willing. I, however, am not.
Coalition of the willing.
Yeah. Anyways, let's keep
finish
this,
it up.
Yeah, keep this train going.
I think there's only like a minute left on this.
Aleister Crowley, the beast.
We'll have to get some pictures with people not for reference.
Freemasonry.
After Crowley died, George King published The Secret Rituals of the OTO. This infuriated their new leader, Grady McMurtry, who conceded the book was, quote, accurate enough to be used for initiations. The most significant secret revealed was a word being used during Thelema's rituals, a word that forever tethered their cult to the contentious origins of Freemasonry. Jabulan.
Jambalaya.
It's important to note that the majority of Freemasons are good people, separate from the alleged malevolence of those at the top who both know and keep the secrets, which established the need for the society in the first place.
That can be said about everybody.
And it's those men who built this country, installing their own people into the most prominent positions of power and influence, so as to maintain their status and control that arguably control the world.
Well,
if you
that
doubt this,
point is
allow me to
unfortunately
rebuke
true.
with two questions. How do you make sure your influence and power are represented across an entire people? In other words, how do you control a country? You build one. While none of this is evidence that Tamara Luzzatto is necessarily sinister, it certainly hints to a specific pattern of belief so often found among the most powerful in our society. One can confidently say that members of the Luzzatto and Tidings family knowingly named their children after two infamous cult leaders, one of whom has amassed a following of, on one hand, decent people who are merely interested in Crowley's
Yeah, but women are kind of
aesthetic
dumb like that, you know?
counterculture variants,
Gullible,
and on the other,
not so
pedophile
much-
apologists and sexual deviants.
I wouldn't say gullible.
Which side the Luzzatto family is on,
becoming
I leave up to
super
you.
fans.
Either
Oh, I'm
way,
gonna name my
Tamara
kids
Luzzatto
after this.
is one of the most powerful women in the world, having worked as the primary advisor for Senator John D. Rockefeller's National Commission on Children, then as chief of staff for Hillary Clinton, per the recommendation of John Podesta, and is currently the senior vice president for the Pew Charitable Trust.
All these people look like
She's someone
lizards.
you don't want to fuck with. Even the articles written about her by so-called reputable publications compare her and her husband to Francis and Claire Underwood from House of Cards. So while I wouldn't suggest poking the bear, I will continue to. See you next time.
Yeah. What my feeds are getting a lot of now on my YouTube and stuff is that the point to point the finger, it is to point it at Kabbalists, people who follow the Kabbalah.
Yeah.
So there's Jewish people, and he was like, in Freemasons, most of them are good people. Well, most Jewish people are good people. And it's the Kabbalists that bridge those two gaps with Christianity as well, with the Freemasons, with the Jewish extremists, with the Christian extremists. They're all vying for the same thing, and that's where they're drawing all the red threads to, is that group, which is kind of in the background. You can't really go to a Kabbalah church, but you can. Somehow Madonna's a part of it, right?
Yeah.
So
Like right after, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to watch part 5? Is that the last one?
I think there's one other one.
I think there was one more there.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, pick the right vid.
That's the way I do it.
I like it.
Okay.
So yeah, elite human trafficking there, pedophile politicians. Top left there. One more up.
This strange new device could produce endless off-the-grid power. Did you know that there's a simple device that generates power right from...
Go Ahead Free, fight censorship, and support free speech.
Admittedly, as it pertains to the elite, and the apparent operations they construct, and their ostensible ability to evade prosecution, I'm impressed. How have they become so powerful? Or perhaps a better question, how did they become so evil? Is power, by its very nature, a requisite to malevolence? I'm not sure.
Kind of.
I am sure, however, that when it comes to human trafficking, it's not, as it pertains to America, for example, about Democrat versus Republican, but good versus evil. Too often those of us closest to this subject matter conflate its findings with an interpretation of partisanship.
He wasn't.
This is a problem.
All right.
Because it jeopardizes our ability to transcend the political and unify under a single banner with the intent to help those who most desperately need it. The following video will be an attempt to prove this point. I'll start with a question. In America, what is the punishment for producing child pornography? Is it 2 years in jail? 5 years?
I have
10
to
years?
admit, I have no idea.
The minimum sentence for first-time offenders producing child pornography is 15 years in prison, according to the DOJ. But apparently, if you're a prominent politician, laws protecting children are optional. Republican Congressman Robert Bowman, for the stated crime of having sex with a 16-year-old boy, his charges were dropped after completing a, quote, treatment program. Republican Councilman Keola Childs pled guilty to child molestation, spent 1 year in jail, spread across 12 years, serving 30 days whenever he wanted each year. Republican campaign consultant and activist Tom Shortridge, for the crime of not just having but producing child pornography, he received 3 years probation.
Jesus Christ.
Republican elections director Kevin Cohn, for the crime of soliciting a 14-year-old girl over the internet, he received 2 years probation.
No.
Republican City Councilman Fred C. Smeltzer Jr., for the crime of raping a 15-year-old girl, he was released after 6 months in prison. Republican Judge Mark Pazuhanik pled no contest to sexually molesting his 10-year-old daughter. He was given 10 years probation. Republican Speaker of the House Dennis Hastert pled guilty to child molestation. Prior to his conviction, Hastert said child molesters should, quote, be put in jail for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And the judge presiding over Hastert said, quote, nothing is more stunning than having serial child molester and Speaker of the House in the same sentence. Hastert was released from jail after 13 months. Republican Representative Jem Noblack. His daughter claimed he molested her between the ages of 9 and 21.
Gross.
He gave his resignation, and there was no further consequence. Democratic Congressman Fred Richmond, for the crime of soliciting sex from a 16-year-old boy, he was never charged, and after he said he was sorry, he actually won re-election. Democratic Governor Neil Goldschmidt admitted to raping a 13-year-old girl, and the charges were dropped. Democratic Mayor Gary Becker, for the crime of child molestation, possession, and distribution of child pornography, he was released from jail after 3 years. Democratic Mayor Ed Murray, accused by 5 people, including his foster son, of ongoing child sexual abuse, he was allowed to resign without further consequence. And of course, Democratic Congressman Anthony Weiner, Democratic donor and activist and Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein, billionaire Democratic donor Jeffrey Epstein, Democratic aide and friend to Hillary Clinton Laura Silsby are among the pantheon of Democratic pedophiles or accused child sex traffickers, given lenient or no sentencing at all in relation to their stated crimes. It's important to remember that these were the only public officials who were actually caught, right? One wonders how many more government people are currently molesting children in secret right now.
Fresh allegations.
Oh, yeah, that is a good
TV
question
icon
given the
Jimmy
past.
Savile abused young girls during his career.
In a statement, the BBC said it conducted extensive searches of its files to establish whether there is any record of misconduct.
The BBC is the same organization that, according to their own investigation, knowingly allowed Jimmy Savile, one of Britain's most prolific pedophiles, to sexually abuse children. Even while rumors of his penchant for kids spread, he was knighted in 1990. And just months ago, an independent inquiry reaffirmed that several British officials, quote, actively shielded and covered up child sex abuse for decades.
Yep.
Here are some of the names and occupations of those with evidence of participation in or sympathies to pedophilia among the British establishment.
Lizard.
Sir Peter Morrison, former private secretary to Margaret Thatcher. The Daily Telegraph reported allegations that Morrison raped a 14-year-old boy at Elms Guest House in London. Former child social worker Peter Wrighton, who was allowed to continue working after claims he was molesting the children. He established what the Metropolitan Police describe as, quote, a pedophile network. Former Prime Minister Sir Edward Heath, the Conservative politician, was accused of raping and, quote, indecently assaulting 5 boys. Sir Cyril Smith, former MP, abused several children for, quote, perverted amusement. Sir Clement Freud, former MP, was accused by 3 women of sexually abusing them when they were children. British writer Tom O'Carroll, founder of the Pedophile Information Exchange, or PI, a British-funded pedophilia advocacy group seeking to abolish the age of consent. Sir Rhodes Boyson, former MP, was yet another member of the Pedophile Information Exchange and was knighted in 1987. Sir Leon Britton, former MP, objected to a request to ban the Pedophile Information Exchange. Leon Britton was knighted in 1989.
Like, fucking...
Sir Greville Jenner, former MP, who in one instance posed as a carer in a children's home in order to sexually abuse a young boy. Sir Keith Joseph, former MP, according to the Sunday Mirror, Sir Keith Joseph and Sir Rhodes Boyson indulged in sex parties with underage, quote, rent boys.
Like,
former MP, outspoken member of PI, and of course, he was knighted in 1971.
Scary as fuck, too.
Yeah, they all,
Unfortunately, with the exception of Tom O'Carroll, justice...
So that's one thing we could say, like, okay, you need to build better kids, right? We knew the kind of risks. And as we're seeing here, you see a motherfucker like that, you fucking run because he's probably going to touch you inappropriately.
Yeah.
And we saw it, like, these flashing these faces and giving those rundowns. It was just like, yeah, all of them for sure. I could just look at them like,
yeah, that one. Yep, that one.
yeah, like you see him at a party, like, hey, don't touch kids. Like, dude,
take my freedom.
Yeah, well, you're not taking my kids.
Will never be served because the allegations against these high members of British Parliament have only recently been made public, and all of the accused are now dead.
No,
the UK's most notorious address is Dolphin Square, home to MPs, senior military, royalty, spies, law enforcement, and other powerful figures. In a dossier presented to Scotland Yard, one victim, named Nick, said he'd be taken there in a chauffeur-driven car and abused by a group of men during parties, saying at one point he witnessed a boy being strangled to death by a Conservative member of Parliament. A similar dossier was given to Margaret Thatcher in 1999. She never mentioned it.
No? Oh, really?
I encourage you to share this video with skeptics of this topic. They can vet the information and discover that it's all true. I want these people to know what's going on. The culmination of my research into elite human trafficking has convinced me without question that pedophiles, in large part, manage, own, and run the world. And to think otherwise is misguided. For example, not all sex offenders are pedophiles, right? But it's still true that the majority have committed sexual crimes against children. With that in mind, consider this question. How many sex offenders do you think live in your zip code? The number might surprise you.
Yeah, no.
Now, scale that number up to your city, then your state.
You checked?
Then your country. And the number jumps to over 800,000.
No, actually, I mean, like,
this is only in America,
actual
and only the offenders who are
30,
caught.
Yeah.
Forensic psychologist Dr. Michael Sito, an author of Pedophilia and Sexually Offending Against Children, put the prevalence of pedophilia in the general population around 1%. Even if we were to cut that figure in half, 0.5% of the human population is roughly 40 million people. So according to Dr. Sito's research, it's not a conspiracy that among our leaders are pedophiles, but a statistical certainty. Similar to the nepotism and Freemasonry, pedophiles in positions of power would almost certainly have an interest in protecting themselves by recruiting those with similar penchants. Psychologist Dr. Knapp wrote, "The serial killer has the same personality characteristics as the sex offender against children. If psychopathy is a trait of pedophiles, then it follows that among any group of them would exist an approval of and desire for child sex trafficking. But without the means to carry out such an operation, most pedophiles have to facilitate their malevolence online, the content of which is becoming progressively depraved, substantiating the notion that pedophiles do share correlative defects with psychopaths. So when analyzing the world's elite class, The statistical average for the presence of pedophiles in society doesn't suddenly go away. In fact, when factoring in the elite's accrued wealth and resources, which include royalty, intelligence officials, Masonic leaders, banking dynasties, and religious authorities, if they intended to conduct or navigate within existing enterprises of child sex trafficking, they could surely do so. Pedophiles are everywhere, and they don't suddenly disappear when they become powerful. It's up to us to ensure pedophiles stay away from children at all costs.
Yeah,
This is
we're
why
the
it's so
Canadian
upsetting that
ones.
we happen to exist in a culture that gives politicians a slap on the wrist or no punishment at all when their depravity is revealed to the world. This has to change. If it were up to me, pedophiles would never be allowed to re-enter civilized society.
There we
But
go.
it's not up to me. Instead, I'm part of a country whose very leader continues to lay bare his apparent proclivity for small children. I'm not sure what, if anything, can be done about this. I mean, what do we do?
Oh, that's an uncomfortable looking kid.
But I'm not going to stop going after them, in the hopes that someday justice will be done.
So you said you went to break up the relationship, and yet you stayed at that New York mansion several days. I'm wondering how long.
But I was doing a number of other things while I was there.
But you were staying at the house of
Yes.
a convicted sex offender.
Oh my god. Do you have to ask her questions, Mom? So boring.
Buffy, get security up here.
I just wanted to have sex with a young girl.
Yeah.
Young bud.
What is wrong with that?
Mummy, help me. Yeah. Yeah, he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I'll just call him that.
Call him out.
Yeah, call him out just because. He's implicated.
That's yeah.
If you got tons of money, can't you like rush the innocence?
I think that's the idea, right? It's like he had a lot of money, I think, right? So bought his way out probably.
If I'm accused of anything at work, I would contest it right away, right?
Right.
Say, Kyle, you fucked up XYZ. No, I did not. Here's my evidence. Bam, bam. I do that immediately.
Yeah.
Here is the reason why I think I'm right. I always have it on hand.
Yeah. Well, that's good thinking.
Because you got to protect yourself, right?
Yeah. Shut down that dissent early. The longer it's wrong, then people dig their heels in, right?
So if I see on the news I was hanging out with a dude that did some wrong things, like I'm going to have an interest in polling every text message or chat or whatever and having that on hand. Like, no, look, I was just visiting. That's it. Here's our conversations. We're above board. But he's not. That's the problem. I think the silence is just like guilt at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. They see like silence is golden or something. It's one of those like your silence speaks 1,000 words. No, it's a picture. I thought there was one about silence.
Well, I can tell you with certainty that we're seeing these rituals that are trying to bring and incite another a Messiah to come down.
Yeah.
It is explicitly said that when we stop doing what we're doing that causes harm and do the opposite and have that unity and like make a utopia because it's possible.
Right.
Like, and from what I remember, Christianity said like, forgive people as much as possible. Forgive yourself as much as possible. Try not to do anything bad.
Right.
And get along with each other. Do your best to get along with everyone around you because we're all just living our lives, right?
Yeah.
Try to help as much as possible. Okay.
Makes
so if we
sense.
follow that way, then it's cool. Then the Messiah will come. And it's just like pretty simple to follow,
Yeah. Well, that's why everyone's like, who really believes that shit's trying to do, little things in the Bible. Like, oh, I read this thing. Like, if you release 2 doves, on a full moon, then like, there's a good chance that Jesus could come back soon after or something, and any little thing that people can, think that they've uncovered some Bible code, right? And then that's the new thing for them.
It's all like in the spirit of doing something half scientific to kind of like poke, grab, and then get the likes from like clout. And like really, if they were able to capture that kind of shit, like do magic, like if all those important people are touching kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that video was kind of linking it to like, okay, we know religious stuff. Well, this is another religious stuff, and touching kids gets them something,
right?
It doesn't just get their rocks off. It's something to do with Moloch or MLK or whatever that was in that video. That's what I'm gathering. That magic is real, and it does something for them. It puts them in power and keeps them in power.
That'd be cool. Yeah. For some people.
Yeah.
Like a Kim Jong-un. How do you say his name?
Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un.
To me, it sounds like one of those catch-22, like would you rather kind of thing that you're not supposed to take. And then there was some like creepy old dudes like, yo, I'll do that. Did it, and it was just like, holy shit, look at my bank account. Almost overnight, but bang, it's all in there.
It's like a legal form, or I don't know, a legal government form of monarchy. Because it's like you're having a king or something. No one elected that king, right? Of like, say, fucking, I don't know, Sweden or something. I think that's one of those places where you wouldn't think that they've got a fucking royal family, or maybe it's Switzerland. But like, one of those two places, like they've got a fucking royal family. That's who does their decrees and shit. Like, oh, here's who's saying that you can stay in from COVID, and here's who's saying how much money you're getting for healthcare and all that kind of shit. Right? It's all coming from the royal family.
Yeah, they're making it also seem like the royal family's like putting those rules out there. Like, you want to be knighted? Do this, and like a part of that list is like diddle a kid to the, like they're waiting on the other side of the door. Guy comes out in his underwear, like, I did it.
Yeah.
They're all waiting
because they have to film you doing it so that they've
Yeah.
got it on tape, and so that they know that you're like one of them, basically.
Yeah, y'all chanting one of us.
Yeah.
High-fiving each other. Like, that's fucking ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
It's like getting an undercover cop to do drugs, basically. The same equivalent.
Yeah, that's just so fun. I can't. My mind can't make sense of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like, how is it that like there's enough evidence there that the position of power creates a symptom of diddling, or the ability, or the having the ability to go to that place has a side effect of making you successful.
Mm-hmm.
Some way, somehow. I'm not looking into it. That can remain a secret in the world of Kyle.
Yeah.
I just know the A to B. I don't need to know the in between. Yeah.
Just get me to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow, like, diddle kids, profit. That somehow, okay. I'm okay being poor. Then.
Yeah, pass.
Yeah, hard pass. I'll find another way to live happy, because that will not be a part of it.
Yeah.
But why are they angling that it is a part of it? I can't imagine another human, there's obviously some that are just like okay with it, but like it comes with its own form of shame where they try to hide.
When I was listening to that Cappy episode of Theories of the Third Kind, they were bringing up that he at some point, I guess we could watch it probably somewhere along, maybe even on YouTube, but like he did a couple of like 1.5 hour like Ask Me Anything live streams, right? Like, so I guess following this guy's journey started kind of on Twitter. And he started just doing like a couple of posts here and there where it was like, I'm sick of, like fucking all these people lying. It's time for the truth or whatever. Right. And then all of a sudden he started kind of like leaving these truth bombs. And I think it started with Seth Green where he was saying, like they were really good friends apparently. And that's, we looked at like, this guy's actually been on like, I don't know what shows, but he's like an actor from like Lost and like, a couple shows, like, I don't think he was like a main character. He's like, like the dead body that week kind of character. You know what I mean?
Oh, on Lost?
Well, I'm just using that as example. Like it's a show like that or something, like just one of those, popular shows. And then he was like, the guy who was the killer that week or something, right? Person on CSI or something like that, for one week. And anyway, so I guess he knew Seth Green from this, and like Seth started taking him to like these high list parties. So he was like at these like really big Hollywood parties with like Tom Hanks and all these kind of people, right?
Okay.
And that's what his Instagram, like pictures here, I'm in Hollywood, and whatever, right? But then he started like not getting roles. And then so this is where he's like, dropping these things on Twitter like, oh, I hate to tell people this, but Seth Green is a pedophile. And like he said a whole bunch of stuff like that. Not only him, but he's like him and his wife are into children, like sexually. And like they never fucking sued him. They're like, hey, you're fucking like defiling my name, dude.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's go to court. Like, game over. And he even said, like, oh, you can go ahead and sue me because like I know that this is true. And I even have proof in some cases, right? So apparently Seth Green never even once texted like a, any kind of tweet or anything that was like, oh, these allegations are completely false or anything. He just ignored it like it never happened. And anyway, so he oh, I forgot where I was going with that. But
now that's another good tactic is just ignoring it altogether. Like I'm not even going to entertain what you're talking about. Just fucking, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Bye.
it's got its ups and downs both ways, right? Because one way you're like, you don't acknowledge it, like, oh, it's so too stupid for me even to acknowledge. But then if you don't, then it looks like you don't want to get into the details, right? And I mean, like I said, like it's a clear-cut defamation. If you're like, you wanted to like strap a restraining order and say, hey, this person's like spreading false things that could definitely hurt my career as an actor. If all of a sudden it picked up steam that I was a pedophile and I'm not. So like, let's arrest this guy and fucking get him, fined for $5 million or something. We can break him. But it never happened. None of these people, even like Tom Hanks, he was like, Tom Hanks is like raping kids and stuff like that. And like, that's all a big thing, especially for Tom Hanks. He's a fucking, national treasure.
Yeah.
Remember how Tom Hanks would do all those pictures of gloves and shit like that?
Yeah.
That creepy shit. So apparently Tom Hanks does this picture of a glove, and it's like a fucking human glove, and it's on the highway.
Okay.
And it's Route 66. Okay. And this is like, I don't know, September 10th at some point. And it says it's a glove on the road, and it says roadkill ? I hope not. That was his picture that he took. A human glove on the road, right? Roadkill ? And then it said like tagged or whatever. It's like here on historic Route 66. Well, like 10 days later is when Cappy got killed, and he jumped off the bridge on Route 66.
Oh,
same fucking highway that Hanks mentions. And this is like Hanks made this comment 2 days after Cappy had been online saying Tom Hanks is a pedophile. Like, I've got this proof, and like he's like all kinds of ritualistic fucking crazy shit, and
Yeah.
Once again, never got fucking a word of it from him. He never was like, I deny these allegations.
put the head out on the guy and then said, yeah, watch this TV show and that'll be your clue, just so we can keep everything nice and hidden.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you're going to do it. Route 66. Roadkill. You're going to, yeah, it's going to be something like that. And that would be a take him, throw him over the bridge, make it look like a suicide.
Yeah. Well, I think some people are speculating that, like, because it's also close to that that Turkish campsite that I was talking about.
Yeah.
So basically, I think he went to like on his social media accounts, he went to investigate that fucking Turkish place, and then possibly got killed there, and then his body moved to this thing, kind of thrown off into a truck to make it look like a suicide.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But then then there was this theory also that maybe he was in the witness protection program, and he actually it was actually just like faked his death so that he could, like, go into hiding, basically. Because so the last post he did, he retracted everything that he said. And so he comes on, so you can watch the video online. So he comes on and he's like, he's standing there, the camera's on him, and he's like visibly shaken. And he's like, this is going to be my last video. And, I've hurt too many people, and I can't do it anymore. I'm a bad person. And, he's going on about all this and, like, basically taking back all this shit that he said, kind of saying he was lying about it and whatever, right? So camera's here, right? Facing me, and I'm looking at this and doing, talking in my microphone, right? You can see he, behind him is just a regular wall or something, right? Well, so if you, like, say you were a nefarious actor, you would be standing on the other side of that fucking computer or whatever, right? Watching him to make sure that he's fucking saying shit that you want, right?
Yeah.
So while he's giving this weird fucking speech, people in the chat room are talking to him, and they're like, dude, you look like you're under distress and stuff. And someone puts in there, blink twice if you're being forced to say this, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, so I'm a really bad person. And he looks over at the guy, and then he looks at the thing and looks at the text, and then he goes like this.
Blink, blink.
Blink, blink, like total obvious, And so, yeah, it's a lot of people think, like, basically someone was, like, standing there making sure that he was fucking saying all this stuff. Like, this is going to be my last video. And,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll call up some stuff for the next episode. We're about at that time, 2-hour mark.
Almost there, eh?
Yeah.
Time flies by.
Time flies by. We'll collect some stuff for the next time.
Mhm.
I got video I want to show, or not, a 911 call.
Ooh.
A monster jumps in the back of this guy's truck, and like the 911 call, we get to hear it.
Yeah, I heard that. I think I heard that one.
Yeah, we'll
It's
show
like a
it.
skinwalker or something, right?
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah. It's not human.
Yeah. and then they go like, what the fuck? That thing just jumped off my truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad
Okay.
he didn't have a dash cam like showing it, but
I know.
that's kind of that's interesting. We'll dig more into that.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll cap it off there, and we'll talk next week. Okay.
Catch you later on the Conspiracy Wars.
All right. Where we got our outro?
Oh.
Right there.
Ooh.